Hello, good evening. Glad you could join me today. So I'm going to make some faux leather using this roll of packing paper. So wrapping boxes or filling box. To make it workable, we need to cut it down into sheets that are acceptable size for working with. So I'm going to try and cut it without butchering the paper, please. Thank you. I think I'll cut that one in half and make it more reasonable sizes. I've also got a spare piece that I cut off from before, so I'll use that as well. So I want the pieces to be about bigger than A4, maybe double A4, A3 sort of size or something along those lines. And then got a wet sponge. There's no soaking it in bowls of water or anything like that. We're just going to wetten it off with a sponge, a damp sponge. Flip it over and I'm going to try wetting the other side as well. Once it's nicely wetted, screw it up into a ball. And because it's wetted, it will allow you to unfold it without tearing as easily as it would if it was dry. And it gets all these dents and creases in it, which add to the effect. And if you want even finer creases, you can screw it up into a small ball and press it quite tight. You'll get a much finer pattern. Or you can just loosely crease it for a bigger pattern. I'm going to let that dry. So the patterns is different if you don't wetten the paper, so I thought I'd try a piece where I don't wetten the paper and just screw it up and unscrew it. So we'll try that. So we'll choose a side. This paper has a rough side and the smooth side, and I'm choosing the smooth side. It looks more leatherish to me. Then you've got a wide brush, and I've got burnt sienna for the lighter colour, burnt umber for the darker colour, and also some gold, which I hopefully will be using at the end. So for the background, I want a nice dark leather colour, so I'm just going to plaster on, spread it out as much as I can, the burnt umber, the darker one of the two browns. And because the paint is going on neat from the tube, it's not being watered down, it's not being diluted, it's fairly thick out of the tube, although it's a cheap paint, so it's not exactly thick paint anyway. But it does start to get a sort of leather-like feel to it almost, just by the paper and the thickness of the paint layers. So while that one's drying, we're going to do the other one, but this time we're going to mix the two brown colours at the same time, directly on the paper. No messing, we're just going to get in there and paint them on. Let them mix as they mix, as we brush it around and try and cover as much space. Although this piece of paper is a bit small, so I might not be able to use it. But it's good for a test. to see how it looks at the end. I thought that area looked a bit darker, so I thought I'd add a bit more of the light shade. And now some gold. But the gold I bought had glitter in it, which I didn't realise at the time when I ordered it. And, well, it's fake leather, so we don't mind if it's got a bit of a glittery sheen to it. We'll see what it turns out like. Might be nice, never know. That area still seems very dark, so put a bit more lighter colour on. And let that one dry. The background colour has dried on this one, so now we're going to put the highlight colour on. But here's where I think I should have dry brushed it on. Just put a very small amount on the brush and brushed it on, and then it would have only captured the peaks. And this is also orange paint instead of the lighter brown. I thought I'd add some orange if I could get any out of the tube. It's nearly used up. I thought I'd be able to wipe most of it off with a tissue, but we'll see how well that works. Get it all spread around. Lovely. You don't have to go right to the edges. I've got a little sock hanger that I hang them on to dry, so it's nice to have a non-painted edge. This is where I attempted to remove some of it with a tissue, see how that would look. It didn't really come off very good because the paint is thick and neat, straight out the tube. I tried a damp tissue to see if that would help, and it didn't really do a lot, to be fair. And then put some gold onto that one as well. Glitter gold. Let's go crazy with the glitter gold all over the place. I thought it would spread a lot easier than it did, but it kind of stayed where I put the gold blob of paint. But the overall effect looks kind of nice. What started off as probably the worst piece has ended up becoming probably the best. But unfortunately, it's probably too small for me to really use for a project. We'll find something to use it for, I'm sure. So I'll leave you with some pictures of the final sheets we made, and I'll see you in the next project.